When Jesus enters Capernaum, he is approached by a Roman centurion, a man accustomed to authority, structure, and command, someone whose life has been shaped by hierarchy and order. The centurion comes on behalf of another. His servant is ill, suffering, unable to recover on his own, and the weight of that responsibility presses him forward. He does not come demanding intervention or asserting his position. Instead, he speaks with restraint and clarity, acknowledging both Jesus' authority and his own unworthiness. He does not ask Jesus to come to his home. He trusts that a word will be enough. The centurion understands how authority works, how a command carries power without proximity, and he recognizes that same authority in Jesus. What astonishes Jesus is not the request itself, but the posture behind it, a faith that rests without requiring proof or control. Jesus marvels. He names this faith openly, pointing to its simplicity and depth, noting that it surpasses what he has encountered among those who should have recognized him most easily. And the servant is healed, not through effort, not through ritual, but through trust that releases the need to manage the outcome. The centurion returns home without spectacle or celebration, carrying with him a quiet knowing that what he entrusted to Jesus has been handled fully. Reflection. The centurion approaches Jesus carrying responsibility that is real and heavy, the kind that cannot be delegated or ignored, because the life of someone under his care depends on it. He understands authority, structure, and the cost of decisions, and he also understands the limits of his own power. When he speaks to Jesus, his words are simple and unembellished, shaped by a confidence that does not need to control the outcome in order to feel secure. He trusts that authority works through word and alignment rather than proximity, and in that trust, he releases the need to oversee how the help will arrive. Something subtle but profound happens in that moment. The weight he has been carrying loosens its hold, not because the situation has resolved yet, but because he has placed it somewhere stronger than his own vigilance. The responsibility is no longer circling endlessly in his mind, demanding constant attention and readiness. It has been entrusted. As he turns back towards home, the path in front of him remains unchanged, yet the way he walks it is different. There is no sense of bracing for impact, no rehearsing of failure, no tightening around what might still go wrong. His trust has already altered the inner landscape. There is space now where strain once lived, space to breathe without monitoring, space to move forward without carrying the full burden alone, space for a lightness that arrives when the heart no longer has to stand guard over every possibility. And in that space, something begins to settle. Not the absence of responsibility, but freedom from carrying it in isolation. Not a feeling that needs to be summoned, but a strength that rises when the heart is no longer on constant alert. It is here that a quiet, sustaining joy begins to grow. One that does not announce itself, but becomes evident through steadiness, ease, and the simple ability to be present again.